Hello, ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
I'm low.
And folks, giving you some more action over here from the, oh my gosh, what is it, the 20...
Brawling Baltic.
That's exactly what it was. With the Burning Baltics now out for DLC, we're getting to see some more of the new divisions highlighted, and I have to tell you, I'm kind of excited. Who's over here on the left and who's on the right?
On left-hand side in the blue, we have once again a Disheartened Eugen fan playing as 52 Sicherungs with a Flatline income. Right-hand side in the red, we have Kurios playing 43rd Reserve Army with a Maverick income.
It'd be kind of funny if it said it was a Disheartened Eugen flan, because at that point we can definitely understand why he's a little bit flat. He just hasn't risen to the occasion.
You just stick him in the oven.
Exactly. He's got to get more steamed. So, two new divisions. Sicherungs over here, before we went live, you made a comment about being a kind of a flashier Korok. What do you mean by that?
The like Korok is just a hodgepodge of anything that Germans could just throw into the front line. The main gimmick, however, is that they really don't get tanks till C phase, technically. You do get some recon Panthers, but you just really are relying on Panthers, which is a good thing right now, because they're very good. Reserve Army is a lot of infantry, a lot of tanks, but not a whole lot else. But they have pretty good tanks and infantry, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, just they have Strafniki with that the Death's Head over here. And actually, this might be the first time we've seen a Death's Head on Soviets, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so, because the Strafniki are... I thought they're CQC, but no, they're just pretty well-equipped with the 3 DPs and a 20-man size. I forgot how large your squads are, but... yeah.
Oh, the Strafniki spam was a real threat. Kind of amusingly, down to the south... first of all, we actually are going to see some Lithuanians on the field here today. So again, like you and I keep saying... I'm sorry?
Oh, no. Oh, it is Lithuania. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
No.
I keep getting all the Baltics countries all mixed up.
Well, when the flames are licking as high as they are, I completely understand. But we're going to see some Lithuanians here. And again, like we can constantly continue to say, I love the inclusion of this. Even if this is Korok, which can have all the same kind of issues you have with Korok, I love seeing the inclusion of some of these kind of more overlooked countries.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And it's definitely nice that they also have a rather large French machine gun. That is a pretty damn good machine gun, especially now with the machine gun buffs.
And you're referring to the 13 Mike Hotchkiss down here in the south, right?
A classic of German reserve divisions, if you think back to Luftwaffe Field Infantry from SD-44.
Interestingly as well, actually we also have these flak trooping. So by the way, this is like a slightly more well-equipped Ersatz trooping, and it's slightly because they have an MP-28, but that's literally the only thing you can kind of say that's different about it.
They do have more guys, which helps out too, so they can survive being meat shields for just a little bit longer.
And as long as you have the Feldjägers right there as well, I mean the discipline keeping those guys in the fight, so there you go.
Yeah, but those Feldjägers are actually pretty good, because they're equipped with bloody
MP-44s.
Yeah, MP-44 and a sniper rifle, so actually a very worthwhile, like, field military police unit to get. But it's been a pretty interesting opener so far. As you're seeing, Disheartened Eugen fan has pushed pretty heavy through the, like, southern town position here, using good use of smoke with the mortar to try and push on through, and also using Panzerbeute 39s, which is a unit you just do not see people use on the German side.
We also have a really weird kind of setup here, too. I'm not sure that people may have noticed when we started the game. Deck-wise, the Germans actually have a numbers advantage in infantry.
Yeah.
Which is blows my mind as easily as if I was, getting hit by a Snipiri right now. But if you're looking over here at the Soviets, there's no infantry in C.
Yeah, it's definitely... I mean, he is playing Maverick, so he's really going to have to go all out in these first 20 minutes to take the victory, of course. And right now he's not doing too great. Disheartened does have the lead, but he should be able to capture one of his home flags in a little bit. But with Disheartened's rather aggressive push through the central position, this will cause a bit of a pain in the ass, I believe, in Kurios' line. He doesn't have a whole lot here.
These Panzer Bushes, I'm a little surprised to not try to engage the Maxims already. Maybe he's just a smidge out of range, isn't he?
Yeah,
that's
going to be perfect for knocking out those Gaz Maxims. Gaz Maxims have been pretty popular recently, just due to the machine gun buffs. You would imagine 4 machine guns shooting at you now actually suppress you extremely quickly, as you can see.
Well, yeah, but of course at the same time you have that dude that's going to be leaning off the tailgate trying to actually use the stupid thing, and that just does not go well.
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, so we are seeing rather interesting... Oh, yeah, okay, so that's the 76-2 Obusiers over here, the IG-290s down here to the south in that southern town.
Yep, the Russian captured runs.
I'm just kind of fascinated. I'm just watching this all develop. There's such a different quality of infantry being used here as well. So, another kind of new-ish, and I put that in air quotes, squad, the Legionnaires over here.
Yep, with lapel rifles, and actually like a pretty decent squad, all things considered. Just kind of like a Grenadier squad or a Panzerfaust.
And that's kind of what you need, though, too. So a lot of the infantry isn't meant to face up against the Russians quite so much. And I'm actually just watching as this one Superior gets rocked back and forth. There's just so much firepower going on him, and that cover is just really giving him some great opportunities. Unfortunately, with him going down, I'd be really kind of afraid to be in either the T-34-76 or the Su-122. And yep, the Su-122 backs off. It's a good call right there.
Yep, but the main thing El Kurios can do is he can play pretty well at long-range advantage, because it's going to be B-phase to receive some recon Panthers being brought in, and they are a little bit expensive, but the anti-tank tab for Disheartened is pretty mediocre. I mean, it's not till C-phase where you can get some Jagdpan, for some B-phase where you can get some heavy AT guns, so right now using smoke and spamming infantry to capture close quarters areas is definitely his best bet.
It absolutely is. Now, one thing we actually haven't talked about either is that for looking at air power comparisons between the two, we have the standard Yak coming over here on the Soviet side. In fact, we got a pair of those carpet bombers going on through. Almost said carpetbaggers, but you know what? It's not U.S. history here. Meanwhile, over here, I wasn't sure if that was going to land, but that's true. Over on the German side, I do like the fact that despite you're not really going to get a ton of tank power, of kind of automotive material, but you are going to get a lot of air power. And I think it's really up to them to kind of effectively use that to make up for the lack of mechanized infantry earlier.
Yeah, and just blowing up a lot of tanks, because Kurios already has quite a lot of armor on the field, the T-3045s, the Su-122s, and even more T-34s just being brought in. So if he can utilize this armor effectively, he should do good, but as we're seeing, the problem in the central position, he doesn't have a whole lot of recon or infantry to really back him up, and that's going to be a pain in the arse.
Well, the other thing too, we got to get Vernichtungs's taking out a T-3485. He's not going to get a ton of traits like that, but if he can even just get a couple of them, that's extremely value added.
Yeah, that's definitely a worthwhile trade and good use of the anti-tank infantry in the 52nd deck, that's for sure.
Now, looking elsewise over here, I actually kind of didn't really pay attention to the fact that we have a Snipuri over here for the Lithuanians. He's actually using an SVT as well, which is kind of cool. And picking off Snipuri like it's his job, and let's be fair, it totally is.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, like, I honestly love seeing this stuff. I am a little surprised to see an IL-4. That's actually another addition, I think, to the DLC, isn't it?
I think it was a plane that you could get in some of the previous divisions, but it's definitely a rarity.
So why would it be a rarity? I guess it's not. That's
not many were made, I believe. I'm not entirely well knowledgeable in Soviet air power, to be entirely honest.
I feel like we need Rooster for this one.
Yeah.
Yep. But we are seeing, like I said before, the German, I'm putting that in air quotes, kind of contribution just to overall infantry power, and it's stunning. It really is.
Yeah, he just has a horde of infantry securing that town. It's going to be perfect. Disheartened, all he really has to do is play the clock. He's gonna, if he can survive to a C phase, he's gonna have a 45-point advantage over Kurios, if I did my math correctly. And that's going to be huge. He's going to have all the Panthers and Jagdpanzers available, which is definitely going to even the odds in terms of the tank fight. So Kurios really needs to make some sort of breakthrough happen. He cannot be sitting on a trove heading into B phase now.
The one issue he's going to have with those Panthers is that he's not going to have the eco for it, at least immediately.
Yeah. It's going to take a little bit. And even a flatline, it's you can't, it's not like a balance where you could potentially buy, I believe, run a minute if you were balanced, because they're only 150 points.
Yep. Now, one thing I do want to make a quick call out. We did see a couple of fog bolts coming on in, and the bomb's not doing a whole lot, which led me to actually to remind me. We are headed for a Red Storm 44 tournament. Actually got announced, I think, very, very recently. And I could not be more excited for it. Also, Pack 36 throwing heat shells at this T-34 76s, and unfortunately not doing a whole lot with it. So all my excitement is for naught. But yes, we have ourselves a Red Storm 44, and I'm super excited. I just could not be more excited for it. Love that mod.
Yeah, it's going to be like an SD League style tournament, kind of like SD League style tournament. So we're definitely going to cover it when it does happen. So if you want to participate and maybe have your games casted, we'll have links to the sign-up sheet in the description below.
Yes, we will. In the meantime, LA7 taking out an FW190. Not too surprising. Unfortunately, there's a lot better agility, I would argue, for that LA7.
Yeah. Rather agile plane, but not a bit fragile, however, to get shot down.
Well, he gets shot down because he's overzealous. If you played hard to get, those females would get jealous.
Beautiful, Khan.
Anyway. All I can say is busted move.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, exactly. Kurios is trying to bust move down here in the south. He's putting some pressure on those flak trooping. And the one thing that we haven't really paid attention to is that the Feldjägers do remove that disheartened penalty, which I fail to appreciate, because we either see the airsats and disheartened troops just walking forward to take hits. It's not them actually there to fight.
Yeah. Yeah, those Feldjägers are just a really lovely unit to have in the deck, just because they do have that extra firepower. I do find it rather interesting this match that both sides are playing what we consider non-meta incomes. You've got Maverick and a Flatline. By God, you haven't seen Flatline in God knows how long, Khan. So definitely with the recent Vanguard nerf, I feel like people are starting to experiment a little bit with these new incomes. So I wouldn't be surprised if at the current state, balance becomes the new meta, just due to its rather balanced income.
Quick things, we're going to see Panther D to the north. Again, that's an Aufklärer Panther D, so Recon Panthers could radically change the landscape here.
Yeah.
And actually, Pack 36 is getting a couple kills on this infantry here. I'm really, really surprised to see these pop guns actually do something.
Yeah, they're actually like pretty well for the price. I mean, of course, light anti-tank has been nerfed in array because they can no longer shoot 2 kilometers, and thank God for that. But with the heat shells, can still like blow up tanks. Like, you can blow up the heaviest tanks in game with a Pack 36, which is a little bit ridiculous when you think about it.
Yes and no. I mean, we are still thinking of things like oh my gosh, I'm actually completely having the brain fart on it. But a Pack 36 that with the what amounted to an RPG on the end of it. I can't think what it's called.
It doesn't even say in game it's heat shell, but it's like a Rakuten rocket.
Thank you. Yes, for Captain Pfeffer. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. It's just a big bloody rifle Panzerfaust grenade on the anti-tank gun, because why not? You put it on regular rifles, you might as well just make it bigger.
There's a piece of me, as we watch this hideous, disheartened M39 being brought on in. That's an 85, again, another 85 millimeter stolen from the Russians. But yeah, so we have this Rakettenwerfer over here, and I don't want to go and put that literally as the actual idea, but I can't help but feel that that's probably one of the predecessors to an RPG. I'm probably wrong on that.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't really know full history of the RPG, so
I am fine to be wrong.
I think it's best if we just leave it at.
I am fine to be wrong.
But what is rather interesting is how this northern push is developing. I mean, Kurios is actually starting to play a lot bit aggressively here now, which is good. I mean, he's in B phase, he has a huge point income. He has to make his work in these next 6 minutes that he has left. If he can deal with this German/Lithuanian bulge here, and maybe start pushing onto the enemy hill, yeah, it would really be his best bet in trying to aggress in this match.
I don't know that's going to happen, though. We're going to see this Panther over here take out the T-34. I can almost guarantee that. And even these snipers going down, these snipers have been extremely effective. And, geez, looking to the north, though, too, it's not going to happen to the south. There's too much just massed down here between the Russian 85 mils and things like that without... Oh, never mind. There's an IS-2 coming.
Oh boy. Yeah, and, well... Yeah, it could be pretty deadly. Of course, a big 85 mil could prove to be a bit of a hassle, but IS-2 is a rather thick tank, if we remember. So, I still think it's not really going to work, because the IS-2 takes a little bit too long to blow stuff up, but maybe its 120mm mortar, which is rather close to the front line, can do a bit of damage. So, not a terrible call, because it will be rather accurate.
It certainly shall be. And first round's going to go between the IS-2 and the 85 mil, and IS-2 might get the first shot. No. Of course, at the same time, I think he got tickled and just had no idea what was actually happening to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I were the 85 mil, I'd be backing up too. But in the meantime, T-34-76, yep, goes down to the north. I think that was, in fact, yes, that was the Panther D. And even in the central position, with these 85 mils being used in a dual-purpose kind of role, trying to push back at these Strafniki, I don't know that Kurios is going to be able to successfully push this through. He's not going to do it in the southern town anyway. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's... Disheartened just has a very good defensive line all around. I mean, central position, town's great. The southern side, he has the anti-aircraft gun and just a whole lot of infantry. As we're seeing up north, that recon panther completely shutting down the far northern push. And then the heavy guns on the hill is keeping anything in the, like, valley town, so to speak, pinned down.
We did see a bit of a missile command kind of action happen over here in the south as we have the 81mm stovepipes for the Germans and the 120mm over on the Soviet side kind of arc and fire back and forth, and I don't think either one of them really knows where their opposite numbers are located.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably a good
general
thing.
direction.
Yeah, exactly. You just aim towards the front lines, you might hit something.
Yeah. Such always a plan. We're also seeing a push here from Kurios, take it back at southern town position. Whole lot of Strafniki, Avtostrukniki, which I recall just have a whole lot of SMGs, so maybe it could work, but there's a lot of infantry from Disheartened and a rather good defensive position.
Well, that's one squad already down. Thank you, Pantashrek. Ooh, who then gets pasted by the IS-2.
Yeah.
So yes, here we go. So yeah, we have 5 PP Shaw 43s, we had 10 PP Shaw 41s, and heat grenades. So yeah, these are absolutely bloody terrifying squads.
And they're, what's it called? Fanatical on top as well, so pretty nasty stuff to fight in CQC. Now we're just going to have to see if they're going to be able to push this out, because once again, a lot of firepower here, but there's still a lot of German infantry that he's going to have to try and make his way through.
Also, Pack 40 going to be engaged in his SU-122, should be able to get the kill on the assault gun. Yeah, there we go. And while there's an SU-152 kind of aggressing towards the town, I mean, we are seeing the Autostrafniki doing very, very well to start. Mm-hmm. But we also have a Focke-Wulf coming on in, and that's going to shut down a good bulk of this push, I would think. There we go. Alright.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Just gonna slow him down. I think, is he bringing out the Ak-9 to chase down the Focke-Wulf? I'd hope not. Do you really want to save that trump card for blowing up any Panthers?
Well, he brought it up before, actually, down to the south. I'm not entirely sure why he did that. These mortars, though, that's going to shut down the push even further.
Yeah, and he's going to lose the Ak-9 for no trade whatsoever. So not a worthwhile trade, that's for sure. And yeah, Disheartened going to be counter-pushing here for a bunch of legionaries. And there's not a whole lot in the southern position to really stop this. Just one gas maximum is going to be a little bit overwhelmed.
Ooh, wait. There's a Pack 40 engaged in the IS-2. Fascinating. In fact, there's 2 of them. Okay, so we got 2 of them. Loaders wounded already. Yeah, this IS-2 is going to go down. I'd be very surprised if it makes it out alive.
Yeah, I think at that range you can use APCR cells pretty efficiently.
And
that Pack 40 is rather powerful anti-tank gun for how common it is. It's like, you can always rely on the Pack 40 to pretty much blow up the majority of Russian armor, which is nice.
Which is good, because you can't depend on the captured 85 mil to do the same.
No, you can't. But yeah, it definitely seems like Kurios is just trying to make all sorts of pushes happen. He's bringing a bunch of Tanko Desaniki up north here. Probably try and hook around to the enemy forest position. But still, I mean, we're in sea phase now. He hasn't managed to get that point income. So it seems like it's going to be downhill from here from now on.
Can we also please appreciate the Vernichtung's smoke combo just now in the south?
Oh, yeah.
I love that. And,
that was good. It's nice seeing actual smoke play.
Yeah, and we say it every single time we see it, but it never ceases to make me happy, you know?
Yeah.
The southern flank is folding kind of like a cheap card table. We have that 120 mil, we have a motorized Razvedka down here, but he's not going to last very long. And even bringing in one squad of Autostrafniki, I feel like that's more of a liability than a help.
Yeah, it's he's going to be a little bit outnumbered, of course. He has a lot of SMGs, but it's a whole lot of legionaries that he's going to have to fight.
I think the big thing is whether or not this Pack 40 gets taken out by this 120 mil. I have also noticed I don't see any off-map call-ins. Is this indicating a change in thought process, or is it just kind of people just trying to figure out what the approach might be for each of these divisions?
I think it's mainly just because, if I recall, both these divisions don't have a whole lot of off-map to begin with. So you just don't really have the option in general. I mean, Reserve Army is very, lackluster in artillery. But we are seeing a lot of on-map being used in counterpart. We don't see as many mortars and field guns actually being used in a regular match, so it is a little bit of a change. But I still think off-map will be king in the battlefield for the time being.
That would certainly be fair. I actually do want to thank a lot of people. We posited last week the thought process of having supply depots and FOBs, basically. And a lot of you reached out to me to kind of talk about the idea. I don't know about you, Ryan, but there were some really, really great thoughts about either the applicability or the lack thereof for FOBs.
Yeah, I had a few comments in my video mentioning that. I still think it's a pretty interesting idea. It might actually make artillery a little bit more, as we're agreeing to make artillery a little bit more useful,
viable.
So to say, viable, yeah, because you want to keep buying supply trucks. I can just think one of the problems is this would just make 4v4s and 10v10s even more cancerous just due to the even more encouragement of artillery spam.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of an unfortunate thing that, the Yak 9 coming to the north, and there's no one there to stop him. Yep, this is going to maybe be a dead Recon Panther. Yeah, because that 85 mils too far.
Yeah. It's a gap in the enemy anti-aircraft lines, and by God, he's going to exploit it.
But he misses. He misses, and this Focke-Wulf, I think, is going to... Oh no, I thought the Focke-Wulf was going to go after him. Maybe he's going to get a twofer? Nope, never mind. Taking an MG, not too shabby. 1311 in the meantime. 190 is going to limp away, I think. Because the Russian 85 mil is not in range, and the gases are also a little gassed right now.
Yeah. Now, for just looking on the map, zooming out, it's just one of those points where there's a whole lot more blue on the fields than is red. To be fair, a lot of the blue is disheartened Kriegsmarine troops who probably risk just serving on... I was about to say a submarine, but I don't know who'd want to serve on a submarine. But, yeah. Yeah, he just has a whole lot of stuff on the field, and I don't feel like Kurios can really make any push happen at this point.
There still are a number of IS-2s, but good luck getting them out.
Yeah. And they're so expensive now at 200 points. I mean, they're very deadly, of course, in open ground tank warfare, but he doesn't really need open ground tank warfare. He needs a lot of infantry and a decent amount of anti-tank to deal with Panthers, but there's not a whole lot of Panthers being brought in right now. Disheartened's just very much focusing on the horde of infantry he has available.
I also feel there's a bit of a missed opportunity that Kurios is not investing at all in supply trucks on his deck. He's got no supply trucks whatsoever.
Oh yeah, and he has a decent amount of mortars as well, which is
a strange decision.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing a I mean, even just like any supply truck to fix like broken tanks is. I guess he's just doing the classic Soviet thing of T-34 broken, we got another run waiting for you at the factory.
Yeah, but I think my concern was more the fact that these 120 mortars, again, I'm pulling up the unit card again, 6 kilometers of range. That is a force multiplier. That's not a force, we'll use it a couple of times and then we'll ditch it.
Yeah. And then 90 points too, it's a bit of an investment to just now have them be completely and utterly useless.
Yep.
It definitely feels like it would have to be just a misplay and creating the deck.
But hopefully that gets changed from in the future here. I know people are still feeling their way through a lot of these new DLC units. Stravniki getting picked off in the south, and like I said, there's not going to be a lot of Russian infantry coming in this phase because, well, Kurios doesn't have any in the deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all downhill from here on out for him.
Which is a weird thing. Like I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that the Germans / and their airstats allies, pun intended with that name, have a numbers advantage. I really can't wrap my head around that.
Yeah, it's just like the Korok thing of just having, well, not SS Supos in this case, but a whole lot of Kriegsmarine guys, and the infantry's pretty good. I mean, they even get a few cards of Fallschirmjägers, which are now very deadly in the patch, because those FG-42s are pretty much on the same level as MG-34s in array, so yeah, like, the German infantry, even in this patch now, is definitely, I mean, all infantry in general are just much more deadly, but definitely helps out when you have a whole lot of machine guns.
I think it's about time, though. I feel like infantry for the longest time, it was like they were the auxiliary forces. It was, yeah, you're gonna use us, but only when you really, really have to.
You just use them for BAM and crossing open fields, and you just spam them, but now you actually have to think about, I played a few 1v1s, and you actually have to be kind of mindful when you deploy infantry now, and not just charge them in the open, because you can't just walk through machine gun fire anymore. You get pinned down pretty quickly.
There's a level of being dead at the same time there, too.
Yeah.
But, here we are, I mean, Stravniki over here to the north. These guys, able and willing, I imagine, to kind of hold on to things for a bit of time here. Looking outside of that, though, I don't know what the long-term prognosis might be.
Yeah. I mean, they got the high ground here, at least, but, yeah, I think the prognosis is Kurios is pretty buggered. So I'd say it's playing, let's put it on ×2 at, like, 28?
Sure. 3, 2, 1, and ×2. And, what we're kind of seeing is, again, just down to the south, a lot of stuff. It's just kind of hanging out. Yak 9 moving on in, everything like that. But mobile wagons, and yep, kind of an expected result there. Checking on further south, again, at the same time. IL-4, again, like you said, I had not recognized that myself here, but an IL-4 kind of trooping around.
Managed to get a good strike on some German infantry. But yeah, Disheartened is this. One thing with Sicherung is that you're very slow division because you don't have a whole lot of mechanization in it, so he's just slowly foot slogging through rather empty enemy territory. And you have 2 T-3045s which have been brought in, but they haven't moved up.
I'm wondering if that actually it's a graphical bug. Because remember, we do occasionally have that from the replays.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it could be a graphical bug, because I don't think you would purposely place T-34s at the spawn point like that.
It's a nouveau strat.
Yeah. We wait till the very end, and then the cavalry arrives.
Exactly. Well, hey, man, if this was an American division, that's exactly what would happen.
Yes. It's just like the horde of blue, slow. It's like a slow-moving blob just consuming the battlefield now. And Kurios is just doing everything he can to hold out.
Well, we are seeing to the north, a 122 mil just starts to pound this air power, and just step by step. It is actually kind of weird to see a security division have as much artillery assets as they do.
Yeah, they're like Sicherung is I really hope we see more of these guys in the SD League because I think they are a very good division. I know Nilla's very happy about the division, but they're also just a lot of fun to see because they just have, you know, the horde of everything and a very fun gameplay style of, yeah, you don't really have any tanks, but then you get Panthers all of a sudden.
But even then, like, how many Panthers have you actually seen? We've seen the Recon Panthers, and other than that, do we have any other ones?
On the field right now?
I don't really see any, do I? I just see Recon Panthers, that's it.
Yeah, okay, he's bringing out one Panther right now, but there we go.
Oh, there
yeah,
it is.
The 3 Recon Panthers, I mean, it's only like your 3 tanks that you can get throughout B phase, but they can do quite a bit of work, and frankly, you don't need more than 3 Panthers in B phase just due to, I mean, cost is already pretty exorbitant.
Yeah.
But Panthers right now are very good currently in the meta, just due to the long-range anti-tank capabilities is pretty powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not for nothing, I feel like Kurios probably should have tapped by now, but I still do admire him for kind of trying to play this out. I do not think he can really do a whole lot with it. And no, actually looks like the T-34 to the south was not a graphical bug.
Oh, he just forgot about it.
Yikes.
And now it's going to die. So should we put this on? Let's put this on ×4.
×4, give me, I'll say over here at 3440.
Yep.
And ×4. Alright.
Oh,
and
smoke covering the Jagdpanzer fallback. That is a very good play.
Yeah, because at this point, I mean, geez, he's kind of just getting pounded into the dirt here.
Now the thing is, really be able to capture an enemy spawn point. I doubt it, but...
I don't think so either, yeah. Come on, there's another IS-2 down here to the south that's not going to go anywhere, but we have tons of planes going after it, so...
Not doing a whole lot. Rather light bombs.
Well, now the airplanes are actually going their actual, you know, wartime speed. And then once in 19.5, you kind of know that it's not looking pretty. 18.6, that could be another 19.5 here in a second, I'm sure. Yep, IL-4's coming in, the PE's coming in, but wrong kind of rocket attack really to be utilized here.
Yeah, and there we go, the good game, and this, holy crap, it didn't seem it, I guess it was towards the end. But yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't look that bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, like, the chronology where the real heart of the match was in the first 20 minutes, like, it was... Okay, a lot of red stuff did go down, to be fair, in those first 20 minutes, so...
Well, and a lot of the trades, too. We have, like, Vernichtungstungs, for example, who's killing a T-34 and Su-152 at a half-track, and then the motorized Svedka. Yes, I know he's got some help there, but still. A Pak-36 with 4 half-track kills. The Panther D with 3 motor kills, and 57 mil with 3 motor kills. I mean, some really, really solid work there.
And then kills rise. Some of the Strafniki did pretty decent. They have pretty good infantry, but that was really it. The supply truck issue, I still think, was a little bit silly.
Yeah.
In terms of deck building, but yeah, I mean, Sicherung seems to be, in this matchup at least, a very powerful division. It'd be interesting to see how they go against some of the more other meta divisions. I don't think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of reserve army in SD League. Just, they're like, alright.
Yeah, it's
kind of alright. just kind of alright. But,
In any case, though, I do know we're coming back, I think, with one more of these over here on Thursday.
Yep.
But, so folks, definitely show back up for that. Until that time, though, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.